Come on, throw in a buck.
I don't tip.
You don't tip?
No, I don't believe in it.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most annoying things Americans deal with day to day in their tipping culture.
Where would they leave you? $1.91?
Number 8. Where is this tip even going? Tipping culture is like a never-ending trust fall with no guarantee anyone's catching you. We drop our dollars in jars and sign away percentages.
At least they're learning art. Tip jars? That's it.
We're prompted to add just a little more on screens with options that feel less like suggestions and more like hostage demands. But where does it all go? And just who at an establishment shares in the tips?
The perception that most of us have is that that person that we're interacting with is the one getting the tip, or at least a share of that tip. And if they're not, then again, it's going to increase our cynicism.
Are we funding rent and student loans for servers and preparers, or payments for the owner's new boat? It's a system built on vibes and crossed fingers. And in the end, who benefits from our show of appreciation is anybody's guess.
Start conversations in restaurants and places where people are asking for tips about where that money is going and just making themselves a bit more engaged in the process.
Number 7, delivery app madness. Ah, the classic delivery conundrum. You're hit with a delivery fee, only to find out it doesn't actually go to the person delivering your food. What are we paying for then?
And let's talk about how exactly these companies make money, because they make some off the various fees that you might see when you order, but they also charge restaurants 15 to 30% of an order in commissions.
The pizza's gas money? The secret DoorDash yacht fund? It's like ordering fries and being charged extra for the salt. And let's not forget the delivery fee also doesn't cover the 45-minute wait or the soggy food that arrives looking like it came from a hard-fought war.
If John doesn't tip... Thank you, John!
Why do both customers and restaurants have to pay a fee to your app? Remember the good old days when the restaurant just hired a driver?
Well, you have to pay for your pizza, sir.
That a fact? How much do I owe you?
That'll be $11.80, sir.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
In today's world, we're tipping to fill in the blanks of a system that's about as transparent as a marinara-stained napkin. Number 6, pressure to tip, even with bad service. Tipping today feels less like a thank you and more like a guilt tax.
According to a 2022 creditcards.com survey, 22% of respondents said when they're presented with various suggested tip amounts, they feel pressured to tip more than they normally would.
A cup of coffee, a dinner out, a delivery meal, these are now considered luxuries for many working stiffs. Now imagine, maybe your coffee is cold, your server is rude, your driver forgot something, but you're a worker, and you have a disturbingly intimate relationship with the grind.
Why don't you both pay for the drink? And tip.
We've all been there. Overworked, underpaid, dealing with that one customer who asks if their soup is organic while you're on your third double shift. So we tip, even when it hurts, because not tipping feels like punching karma in the face. Okay, we're rewarding bad service, but it's easier than feeling guilty.
The new tablets have turned what used to be a sin of omission, I simply didn't put money into the tip jar, into a sin of commission. I have to hit a button and say no tip. I have to actively choose not to tip.
Number 5, mental math. Tipping is hard enough, but throw in math?
There's a minimum, there's a maximum, it's a lot of math involved.
Now it's a group exercise in collective humiliation. Splitting a bill is like running an unprepared math relay race, often with a few drinks in you. Suddenly, you're huddled around a phone like you're breaking the Da Vinci Code, debating whether Karen's extra guac means she should pay more.
Everyone owes $28.
Okay. Everyone?
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Thank you. It's Monica's big night. She shouldn't pay.
Thank you.
So 5 of us is $33.50 apiece.
No, no way.
It's no wonder there are dozens of apps dedicated to calculating tips. There's a cottage industry built around the fact that no one remembers how to move a decimal point. The system relies on our incompetence, and frankly, it's working. Makes us wish we stayed awake in algebra class.
How should we do this?
I mean, I guess I could put it on my card?
No, you don't have to do that.
If it's easier, we can just split it 6 ways.
Well, I mean, some people had more than others.
Did they?
Number 4, front of house has an advantage. Tipping doesn't just widen class divides, It builds a wall right through the middle of the restaurant.
That's a problem.
Front-of-house servers in high-end spots can rake in hundreds a night. Meanwhile, back-of-house cooks and dishwashers, you know, the folks who literally make the food, often barely scrape by. Then we have the potential chaos of tip pooling and sharing, where everyone's earnings gets tossed into a communal pot.
People need to realize that when you're tipping the waiter or the waitress, they also are paying out bussers and the bartenders that need to be tipped from that tip that you're leaving as well.
In theory, it's fair. In reality, it's an awkward trust exercise where you hope the bartender doesn't accidentally pocket an extra 20. The system pits coworkers against each other, turning the restaurant into a passive-aggressive Hunger Games. You may naively assume your tips are saving the day, but your generosity might just be fueling the madness behind the scenes.
Are you okay?
Do I look okay?
Number 3, the unspoken rule. Tipping's unspoken rules are like a secret handshake no one teaches you. We're just supposed to pick it up through osmosis.
Do you ever find yourself wondering, when did it get so hard just to figure out tipping? Where should you tip? How much?
Who do you tip? When do you tip? Everyone has an opinion, but nobody really knows. Do you tip the barista? The hotel maid? What about the guy at the sink in high-end men's rooms? Once you figured that one out, what is an appropriate amount? 15%? 20%? Your firstborn child? Imagine being a foreign tourist trying to decode this madness.
It's very weird because we don't pay any tips in Korea and Asia or even Europe, but in the United States, especially New York, it's so high.
Many, most, of us locals still sometimes need to sneakily Google tipping etiquette in the bathroom to avoid embarrassment. The truth is, we've all made it up as we go, like some bizarre game of financial improv.
Personally, it's been stressing me out.
Number 2, putting on a show for the customer. Who'd have thought you need to be a theater major just to make a living as a tipped worker?
Brian, for example, has 37 pieces of flair on today, okay? A terrific smile.
Okay, so you want me to wear more?
Look, Joanna,
Yeah.
people can get a cheeseburger anywhere, okay? They come to Tchotchkes for the atmosphere and the attitude.
They basically moonlight as performers, and the stage is wherever the customer is standing. Need that water topped off? Here's a big smile and a joke about the weather, because my rent depends on it. You've got to dazzle, charm, and slap a smile over that deep well of existential terror.
Ma'am, would you be interested in changing your long-distance service if... What the... She hung up on me! What did I do?
It's not good enough to be good at your work. You've got to earn that tip with charisma, all while balancing plates and swallowing your pride. When that satisfied customer walks away, you've sacrificed your pride for a few extra bucks. It's a hustle, it's exhausting, and if you're having a bad day, nobody cares.
Please understand how undervalued our employees have been for so long.
These are real human beings that are going home, dealing with things the same way you are.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, tipping at self-checkout. Nothing beats the blush-inducing humiliation of the checkout tipping screen.
Americans are being met with prompts to throw in some extra money at self-checkout machines in places including cafes, airports, and stadiums, even if they had little or no interaction with any employees.
You're just trying to buy a muffin, and suddenly, you're staring at 15%, 20%, or custom tip. The tip query is virtually everywhere, prompting performance under pressure. Does this service even warrant a tip? It didn't just a few years ago.
Tipping researchers say that companies are taking advantage of the fact that consumers are more likely to say yes to these things.
Now your morals are the deciding factor. Do you tip 20% on a $4 muffin, or brace for that millisecond of soul-crushing eye contact? The worker gets to silently watch you hit no tip and then dip. It's a no-win scenario. A Kobayashi Maru test weaponizing awkwardness to squeeze out your last dime. You're now tipping for emotional survival. And what's the percentage for that, huh?
Customers are calling this tactic foul because they're not exactly sure what it is that they're tipping for.
Yeah. But we always get caught in tipping more, right?
Always.
It's like, it makes you feel guilty.
Please feel free to leave us here at WatchMojo a tip, in the form of your comments, with your least favorite parts about tipping culture.
You forgot your change.
No, that's for you. That's your tip.
Oh, no. I insist. You take it. You obviously need this more than I do.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.